Ellen Road is sold out yet again for the match of the weekend in the Championship, as Leeds go for their third successive victory. And Burnley hope to recapture the form they showed in the demolitions of Cardiff and Luton in their opening two games. This stadium has not been one they've travelled to with much hope in recent years, but it's a chance for both clubs to really lay down a marker as the table begins to develop. And Adam Virgo, for Leeds United in particular, they really fell away badly at the end of last season, but they've recovered in the last couple of weeks really well.
Yeah, I mean, that second half of the season was a real disappointing half because they were in really good position, had a decent amount of points on the board, and they just kind of slipped away from them. And certainly lessons would have been learned from that, but listen, a solid start to the season, a game against Portsmouth that probably they should have won here, and say a good result against Hull. So it's certainly good confidence now. Daniel Fartner's side in terms of the way that they are playing. The couple of clean sheets will certainly help them in terms of confidence defensively. It's just trying to find that formula a little bit more in that final third, the passing possession that he plays, but then trying to, I think, a bit more cuter on the counter-attack against this Burnley side.
And Burnley always seem to bounce back to the Premier League, or they have done in recent years, but they may find it a bit more tricky this time.
Well, yeah, I mean, the start of Scott Parker's tenure is almost like dealing with an NFL squad, the amount of players that they've had. But listen, he's had a good window, and I think he's been very happy during that international break to go and work with the players. And I think he mentioned that in his pre-match interview, that it's so important now for these new players to settle. There's been a massive overhaul from last season, not only from the manager, but the players on the field as well. And it will take a little bit of time, I think, for Burnley to find that formula, find that pattern of play to go somewhere. But listen, there have been some good results at the start of the season, which certainly always does help with confidence.
And there is a real buzz of anticipation all around Ellen Road before this one. The Burnley fans have travelled in their numbers, as you can see there. And Leeds always guarantee a large, passionate support wherever they play. And there were one or two doubts in the opening games. The heavy loss here to Middlesbrough. But they seem to be back on track. And this was always a game to circle on the fixture list at the start of the season. Two clubs who only have eyes for a return to the Premier League, meeting in front of a sellout crowd, and even at this stage, this feels like a significant match. Leeds have lost a number of big names, as we were saying, but they are a side who really thrive on momentum, and they seem to be developing that at the moment. And Burnley, under new management, of course, have managed to sift through a squad which Vincent Kompany left in pretty good shape. But of course there have been departures, but Scott Parker seems to have made one or two canny signings as well, and we will see evidence of that today. Daniel Farke has stuck with a winning team following the 2-0 victory here over Hull City. Daniel James remains the only significant absentee, but his loss has been offset by the former Brendan Aronson, who returned from a loan spell at Hertha Berlin with a point to prove, and has been voted the Player of the Month by the Leeds supporters. Burnley are without Connor Roberts following his injury playing for Wales in the Nations League, and Lyle Foster, who featured twice for South Africa in their World Cup qualifiers. So Bashir Humphreys makes his Championship debut on loan from Chelsea at right back, and Zian Fleming is involved for the first time since his loan move from Millwall on deadline day. Brendan Aronson, the Leeds Player of the Month for August. He didn't have too much love from the Leeds supporters after his decision to go away on loan. He didn't have too much love from the Leeds supporters after his decision to go away on loan.
Yeah, he's been really good this season. It's probably an area that Leeds maybe looked at in the close of the window to try and find someone, but he has certainly stepped up to the plate in terms of that position, taking his goal well this season, and has had a real influence on the team so far.
And Zian Fleming, he was excellent for Millwall a couple of seasons ago, at this level, and this is a really big opportunity for him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about that season. I remember scoring a wonderful hat-trick against Preston that season, and he really did score a lot of goals for Mill. This is a quality player that I know certainly Scott Parker is a massive fan on. I think what he brings to the side is a bit of versatility in that final third. Him leading the line today certainly shows that.
And before kick-off, there will be a tribute here for Sol Bamba. James Bell, our referee, will oversee that. Who was such a popular figure at Leeds United and many clubs across the EFL. He sadly lost his battle against cancer over the international break, and he will be remembered here now.
As we remember Sol, please join us in a minute's applause, which will end on the referee's whistle.
And the outpouring of emotion for Sol Bamba at so many clubs around the EFL really gives you an indication of what a great figure he was on and off the field. And he was given the sort of tribute here at Ellen Road which he really deserved. But for both Leeds United and Burnley, this is the opportunity to really show they have what it takes against one of their major rivals this season. And it's Leeds who get the game underway, wearing their famous all-white, defending the goal away to our right in the first half. And Adam Virgo, it will be fascinating to see which team gets the opportunity to set the tempo early on.
Yeah, well, it certainly will do. It'll be really interesting to see how Scott Parker's side do set up without the ball more, to really do try and press this Leeds, playing out from the back. And there's early questions by that in terms of the tempo that you go in against a side defensively to try and win that ball back high up the field. But certainly doing that, you have to be aware of the counter-attack that Leeds can certainly possess with the quality and the players they've got forward in those forward positions.
Osho. Oh, it's been won here by Matteo Joseph. An early opportunity for him in the opening minute, and he drags it wide. What an opportunity for the youngster there, catching out Maxime Esteve on the halfway line, and he had a long time to think about that.
Oh, the face says it all there from Daniel Farmer to say that that should have been a goal. Burnley caught on the halfway line, and sometimes in these situations you've got so much time to think about what to do with it. And it seemed to me his decision-making was just a little bit late there, leaning back when he took that shot on. The big games, you get big opportunities, and that was a big opportunity.
Well, Matteo Joseph with the perfect chance there to give Leeds the early advantage in this Championship War of the Roses, but Burnley really have the reprieve. Here is Nonso, who scored during the international break for the Italian under-21 side. And Osho, who was involved there in that challenge, he was the player who really sold Esteve short to create the chance.
It was a little nervous pass, I'd say, from him. Set that attack up for Leeds. And they're playing with a 4-4-2 without the ball, Burnley, to go and press high, and they've worked it really well so far against both centre-halves.
Fleming winning it back, and the header from Hannibal. He wasn't really set for the chance, but we've seen both teams here give the ball away cheaply in dangerous areas within the opening 2 minutes.
I hope this does continue, because both sides defensively have been caught on the ball. There's always a difficult opportunity there. Fleming early involvement there. A bit of a rushed head up. But both sides now have been given early opportunities from their own mistakes.
And now Osho grappling with Junior Firpo, and Leeds have the free kick in the end. Of course, this isn't a local derby geographically, although these two clubs aren't too far apart in different counties, but it has the intensity of a local derby right at the very start. Allen Road has not been a good ground for Burnley. Only one win in their last 11 visits. That was in September of 2013 when Sam Vokes scored the winning goal in the Championship. And they were reunited in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. And Leeds won 3 of those games and drew the other. Roden. And Bogle was looking to get involved with Joseph, but Burnley win it back. Hannibal going to ground, but it's quickly recovered. And here is Firpo. And Leeds have it back again. Aronson, now Firpo. Nonto in the central area, looking for the width provided by Bogle. And it slipped in towards Nonto, and Leeds claim there was a touch there of Esteve, but a corner kick's been given.
I think many of these games where it just starts at a fast tempo. I think both managers will be looking now for both sides to settle down on the ball a little bit more. Important to gain control of the game early. Turnovers been quite frequent, especially in those defensive areas that have led to opportunities, but as soon as they can just settle down with the ball a little bit more, then they can gain control of the game.
Roden winning the header. And again, Matteo Joseph involved, and this time it was Joe Worrell who managed to get across to him, but no decision given by James Bell, the referee. And only Swansea have averaged more possession than Leeds this season. They are a team who like to try and dominate the ball, but they also have that pace on the counter-attack as well, which is a very handy weapon to have. It's played back by Lucas Pires, and Trafford just had to hurry the clearance. Humphreys playing it forward now. Hannibal, and he's able to spread the play. Koleosho. Good challenge though from Junior Firpo. And Leeds with Manor Solomon, but he was initially held up, but he's another player who was very comfortable in possession. Firpo. And Strike almost giving the ball away, but the pace of Nonto helping him out, and we're seeing both teams give the ball away with regularity in the opening stages.
Yeah, a little bit of franticness with the ball. Just kind of nervous passes more than anything, just trying to force the ball sometimes and playing in the wrong areas.
Leeds haven't conceded in the Championship since the opening day when they drew that dramatic game here 3-3 with Portsmouth. There was a rather sterile goalless draw at West Bromwich Albion, followed by a couple of 2-0 victories at Sheffield Wednesday and here against Hull before the international break. But 3 of their next 4 games are away from home. And there is applause here around the ground from the Leeds United supporters for a young Leeds fan, Bob, who sadly lost his battle against cancer during the last week or so. And the Leeds fans were asked to show their support for him and his family, and they and both sets of players are doing so here. And that's really good to see in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, really nice touch from both clubs, both sets of players as well.
Strike. Now Rodon. Bogle working the 1-2 with Nonto. Joseph demanding the ball down the centre, but it's short to Aronson. There could be an overload here down the left. Firpo. Just held up initially by Koleosho. But now Gruev. Back towards Aronson. Ampadu takes over. And the space here for Solomon. Just unable to get the shot away. Nonto, very congested. Joseph drops to Aronson. The challenge comes in from Brownhill. Chaotic on the edge of the penalty area. But here is Firpo. And now Gruev lets fly. And it's comfortable for Trafford in the end.
Good build-up play there from Leeds. Good with a decent strike on the edge of the box there. I thought he had more on it. And maybe just tested Trafford in the goals. Good hands there from him. It'll be interesting battles down that left-hand side. You've got Humphreys coming in at right-back at Burnley, who's more of a centre-half. I just saw his positioning there when the ball was on the left-hand side. He came in quite narrow. That allowed a bit of space for Leeds down that left-hand side. If they can play that ball a little bit quicker out to Firpo or Solomon on that side, then they can certainly have a bit of joy.
Now Bashir Humphreys. Another loan spell for him from Chelsea. Still only 21 years of age, part of the England under-21 setup. Now Worrell. And the space for Koleosho again on this near side. Hannibal moving wide to create the space, and now Fleming inside the penalty area. Here is Hannibal, clipped forward by Brownhill, and the moment he hit that, he knew it was the wrong option.
He was just trying to caught in two minds there when he went to flick the ball around the corner to Fleming. And then he thought about the shot maybe, and he just got it wrong. It's a good shot on the edge of the box. Good patient build-up play. Decent first touch there, just using the inside of his foot, maybe using the laces would have guaranteed a bit more power. Comfortable save in the end.
Rodon. And now Bogle. Nonto again looking to make the run in behind, but it was seen by Esteve.
I'm really liking Burnley's movement in that final third when they do get that ball out to the right-hand side. Koleosho, decent movement off the ball. If they can get those balls in right, I think they're going to certainly cause Leeds a few problems in this game.
Luca Koleosho. Like Wilfred Nonto on the other side, and an Italian under-21 international. And the Championship is a really good stage for young players to develop very quickly and also learn about the arduous schedule which they may face throughout their careers, as the flag's up for offside. Emmanuel Solomon on loan from Tottenham. Made his debut against Hull in the victory here. Leeds, of course, lost so much creativity and goals with the departure of Crescencio Somerville and Jorginho Rutter. 25 goals and 24 assists combined last season, and that's a big hole.
Yeah, I mean, just under the 50-goal mark or the 50 contribution mark from both of those players. Almost going to be a hard void to try and fill.
And Archie Gray also leaving for Tottenham as well. A player who only really came to prominence last season, of course, so young but so impressive.
Yeah, good player, good technical player. And I think for Leeds, unfortunately, it was the buyout clauses that allowed the players to leave.
Solomon. And there's a deflection off Koleosho for the game's first corner.
Yeah, that was the area I was talking about. I think Leeds can certainly utilise two youngsters down that right-hand side for Burnley. You just maybe question their positioning without the ball sometimes. But after the first couple of minutes now, you can see the game settling down now. Both sides are keeping the ball much better than what they were, and you're kind of seeing those patterns of play that have brought them success so far this season.
Gruev with the corner kick. And it's very deep. The header at the far post from Joseph. Half-hearted appeals for handball, but here is Bogle. And he was quickly closed down by Jadon Anthony, who was here at Leeds on loan last season. And he was a perennial sub in the Championship. But he's back in the Championship on loan from AFC Bournemouth. Of course, he'll have been well known to Scott Parker. And Scott Parker looking to win promotion with a third different club after Fulham and Bournemouth. Esteve. And now Anthony with the opportunity to attack. He's got support. But in the end, he finds Koleosho. Hannibal waits in the penalty area. And in the end, the header down from Fleming was routine from Elliott.
It was a really good run about the ball there from Pires. When that counter-attack started happening for Burnley, they did create a bit of space. Now you get setting down, you need that bit of quality now to start coming in.
And Zian Fleming playing as the false nine today. Of course, his goal-scoring record suggests he can be a more authentic centre-forward at times, but he was at his best at Millwall, often playing behind the striker, Tom Bradshaw.
I remember Scott Parker certainly singing his praise. Always been a big fan of his, and I just think he brings that different element of play to Burnley within that final third. So you can play in the 10, you can play in the false nine position. He'll certainly get the best out of him. We spoke about his season a couple of years ago for Millwall, and he scored an abundance of goals. But he's a good squad player to have, certainly experience at this level, certainly very, very important.
Solomon shrugging off the challenge initially and looking for Bogle on the overlap once again. Ampadu, it's deep, but Joseph will get there, but it's a goal kick.
A little bit too much there on the cross, but what I love, that counter-attacking play there from Leeds, is Solomon just coming in off the line and picking up that pocket of space. Forward pass into him that gets him on the half turn, then it's that quick ball out wide to Bogle down the right hand side. When Leeds have moved the ball forward quickly and they've moved the ball forward wide, they've opened up Burnley fairly well.
Manor Solomon, who was the captain of Israel during the international break in the UEFA Nations League. Laurent looking for Fleming and finding him, and he holds off Rodon, but the shot was straight at Meslier.
That's a great ball. What a ball that was into Fleming, his movement, but he gets goal side of Rodon there. I mean, he's grabbing onto him, he's pulling him back. Probably just does enough there for the referee to pull something up and gets the shot off.
Well, he stayed on his feet, which was the crucial thing. Worrell winning the header. And now Junior Firpo, who was involved for the Dominican Republic during the international break. Strike. And here is Ampadu. Aronson was on the move, but the clearance will only find Gruev. Aronson again. Solomon. Firpo. And the flick was clever from Gruev, looking for Aronson, and Worrell had to take charge of the situation.
Some nice play now from Leeds. Picking up some really, really good positions there. There with a little flick round the corner.
Firpo will take the throw in. Aronson. Once again, he has done well. Laurent comes across to concede the corner, and Burnley are having sporadic opportunities, but Leeds at the moment are on top. Gruev with the corner again. And it's guided clear. And the slip from Solomon. And there are possibilities here for Koleosho. He's got Jadon Anthony forward, but Koleosho may go alone! That's a stunning goal from the teenager. And Burnley ahead with the dictionary definition of a counter-attack. And Leeds concede for the first time since the opening day of the season in the Championship.
Oh, well played, Luca Koleosho, because you capitalise on a mistake and you've got a lot to do. Mateo Joseph had a similar opportunity first minute, had a lot of time to think about it. That's a quality goal and a quality finish. Just sets himself up nicely. Bow didn't know whether to stay or go towards the ball, and when he did, maybe just a little bit too late. But that is a quality counter-attacking goal, quality counter-attacking finish. Big goal for Burnley.
His second of the season, scored in the victory against Cardiff. And just when Leeds were beginning to take a grip on the game, one slip and they are one down.
That's a quality goal. That was that little period of play there we spoke about, that Leeds were dominating and just slowly grabbing into the game and gaining control. And Burnley almost had to stick in for a couple of minutes just to kind of ride out the danger. Solomon with the slip. But he still had a lot to do, the youngster, and showed great composure in front of goal.
And on a ground where they've not won since 2013, Burnley are ahead. Here is Joe Worrell. Still seems strange not to see him in the Nottingham Forest shirt. Esteve. But he chose to end his long association on the banks of the River Trent to move to Burnley. And a problem here for Daniel Farke to solve.
It was an issue for Leeds last season when they conceded that first goal. They did find it very, very difficult to come back and win games. When they took leads in games, then they were flying, and won more games. And when they went that goal behind, they found it really difficult, and they find it difficult, teams that maybe just sit back deep a little bit now and soak up a bit of pressure.
Yeah, they really were a momentum team. They only won 3 of their opening 9 games, but once they got going, they were almost unstoppable until right at the end. 90 points, but that includes only 4 points in their final 6 games last season, which saw them slip into the playoffs and eventually lose. Joseph, Junior Firpo, Gruev, and now Strike. Firpo again, Solomon, Joseph given the room to turn, and the shot from Ampadu driven into the crowd. And the clearance from Lucas Perez, but it's all rather untidy and Leeds win it back. But so much of Leeds' play is in front of Burnley at the moment, and now they've given the ball away to Anthony. He quickly finds Fleming. And here is the pace on the counter-attack once again. Lucas Perez. And the cross, a disappointment in the game, but that's the danger for Leeds. If they turn the ball over even deep inside Burnley's half, they've got something to worry about straight away.
Yeah, it's great pace to see, an encouraging sign, especially away from home when you're going to drop back deep and absorb a certain amount of pressure against good sides. But it's how you can turn that over, the turnover, and go into that counter-attacking phase fairly quickly. And I mentioned the first couple of minutes of the game, I like the movement of the front 4 of Burnley so far.
Strike. And now Rodon. And all the noise inside Ellen Road is Lancashire noise at the moment in one of the cathedrals of Yorkshire football. Humphreys, but Leeds have the free kick for the earlier challenge on Gruev from Hannibal. Firpo. Aronson. And again, Leeds have to be patient. Burnley very well organised without the ball before they look to lay the trap. But here is Aronson, and that's a good ball, and Nonto is denied by an excellent save from Trafford. No flag.
Should have scored again. Leeds have had 2 golden opportunities to find the back of the net.
And now Fleming sweeping it wide to Koleosho. He returns the compliment. Anthony, he's got pace, but the shot is wide. But Leeds here with so much of the ball, but all of these significant opportunities after the early one for Joseph are coming to the visitors.
Well, I think the worrying sign for Daniel Farke's side is that I mean, this was the opportunity early on. Trafford staying as big as possible, making another significant save. But I think what Leeds' biggest problem is when they lose possession, they're not equipped defensively to deal with the counter-attack numbers. And they're getting outnumbered sometimes, and the distances are all wrong. It's great being a counter-attack inside and playing within opposition's half, but defensively you have to be right without the ball, just in case you lose it. And when Burnley have won it, they've really counter-attacked well with pace. That has really caused Leeds an issue and has led to a goal.
Firpo. And Leeds coming into this game having won their previous two, but overall, including the end of last season, it's only 4 wins in 14. And they were only beaten twice here in the entirety of the previous campaign, but they were the final 2 games of the regular season against Blackburn and Southampton. Strike. And now Junior Firpo. Solomon. Bowled over by Humphreys. It's another Leeds free kick.
I don't think Leeds have done that anywhere near enough. Test Humphreys in those one-on-one areas. Solomon's a tricky player. I think he's picked up 1 or 2 positions when he comes in off the line, but sometimes just hugging the touchline will ask a question of a fullback whether to go tight or stay narrow.
Humphreys playing today because Connor Roberts, who was on loan at Leeds last season, picked up an injury. Now Joseph, Junior Firpo. And again, it's covered well this time by Josh Laurent. Leeds looking to maintain this tempo at the moment is Gruev. Firpo. But again, there's not a huge amount of movement ahead of him. Gruev. And Ampadu's ball will be eventually shepherded behind by Bashir Humphreys, but the flag was up for offside anyway.
Oh, Scott Parker's side are really happy when Leeds maybe had the ball 25-30 yards from goal just to narrow up, because they know that movement can cause issues. But fairly so far, Leeds have probed and pressed him once or twice, and his chance there was a massive opportunity for them. It's a brilliant ball around the corner, and that's what you need to do. Forward passes to break that defensive line. Great reverse ball there, and he should be scoring. It's a good save in the end, but he should certainly be hitting the back of the net.
9 goals and 3 assists from Wilfred Gnonto last season, although he did have spells on the sideline before eventually winning his place back in the team around the turn of the year. But it's a fascinating battle in the wide areas because both of the Leeds fullbacks love to get forward. They have to get forward in this formation, but Burnley have got so much pace on the counter-attack, as we've seen.
And that's the issue that you've kind of highlighted before, that well and being that fullbacks get forward in comfortable areas, but it's when you lose the ball then you almost leave yourself outnumbered.
Leeds with more attempts on goal, but Burnley with more on target so far. Gnonto, well seen by Koleosho. Humphreys under pressure from Firpo, but it's a goal kick in the end. And it's developing into a rather frustrating lunchtime here for Leeds United.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those ones that maybe the goal came against the run of play slightly for Leeds United. It's been a fairly solid reaction from the goal. I think they've kept the ball well. They've had a chance since then. Gnonto there to make the goal, make the game equalise. And now it's about game management for Scott Parker's side to maybe slow the play down a little bit, frustrate Leeds as much as possible.
Fleming going down after tangling with Strike, but no free kick. Roden. And now Bogle. Gnonto skipping inside beyond Josh Laurent. And Gnonto again looking for the support of Bogle. Joseph. Driving towards the byline, held up by Lucas Perez. Aronson almost breaks back into the path of Bogle, but it's all very frenetic, all very untidy, and once again Burnley are able to clear. Strike. And the pattern of the game now seems set. Burnley with their lead. Saying to Leeds, can you break us down? Ampadu. Aronson again. He's having to do so much of his best work some way from the penalty area. Strike. Gruev. Holding off Hannibal. Solomon, but again, Leeds are caught in the Burnley offside trap.
Yeah, it's a frustration now. Especially when you're looking down the line, you can see everyone to stay on sides. It's difficult when you're making runs between those players and you don't really know what's over your shoulder, but that time there, Solomon looking down the line, you don't need to be on offside position. He's trying to say, play the ball a little bit quicker.
Strike winning the header, helped on by Solomon, but there's Worrell. Roden knew that Anthony was in the vicinity, and Burnley now have the throw-in. Luka Kolyosha with the only goal so far. And Leeds with all of the games offsides, and there have been a succession of those in recent times.
Yeah, it's the frustration of those offsides when they've had good possession and you can time your run slightly better. And that's what will be certainly frustrating for them.
Lucas Perez back to James Trafford. Humphreys. And he allowed the ball to evade his grasp. It will be a throw into Leeds. Roden. Bogle, but it's given away. Won back well by Lucas Perez. Fleming. Now Brownhill able to turn, helped on towards Jadon Anthony. And it's blocked, but it was fairly desperate defending from Leeds as Jadon Anthony looks to score against one of his former clubs.
6 Burnley players making that run. It's been a perfect counter-attacking performance from Scott Parker's side away from home. This is what you do, absorb pressure, force a mistake, and then run in numbers, getting forward, having that belief that you're going to get something. And another last-ditch challenge there from Leeds United to keep the scoreline just as 1-0.
And it was Joe Rodon who got the final touch. Burnley corner, and it was met by Worrell, but it's too high.
Decent run there from just across the near post. Just need a little bit less on the header.
Well, two managers who'll have very different moods at the moment, and the look on Daniel Farke's face, arms folded, really tells you all you need to know.
And what a frustration goal came against the run of play. They've had good opportunities and should have had a goal for their 2 efforts. And Nonto and Joseph as well. I have to say, I've been so impressed with Burnley without the ball. I've been so impressed with Scott Buell. The pace that they've got going forward is going to be a challenge for anybody.
Well, he was beaten here twice previously when he was the manager of Fulham. Aronson. Now Firpo. Solomon has space to attack Humphreys, and he delivers the cross. Bogle doing his best to make something of it at the far post, but it's claimed by Trafford.
I'm not sure if that cross has had a little deflection on it. They just maybe put a little bit more on for Bogle to try and head back. But these are the areas I've spoken about on a number of occasions now. Haven't they really got in one-on-one areas and tested the full-back? Maybe cross to the far post, and I think that balls out wide at the moment for Leeds have been poor.
Well, Osho is looking to break once again, and Junior Firpo takes one for the team.
It's always going to be an interesting battle because Firpo wants to play tight. It's a brilliant ball in behind there, and that's an area that I think Leeds have really struggled with, because we mentioned that both fullbacks want to get forward and there's going to be space down the sides. Not as expected of both fullbacks to get forward, but I think Osho's been excellent so far, 33 minutes. I think he's just shown that maturity, that quality for Scott Parker's side.
But he will know 1-0 is always a tenuous lead. Josh Brownhill over the free kick. And it's deep again, looking for the run of Hannibal. Esteve. Laurent finding Hannibal again. And now Osho. And the cross is dangerous, but Strike was there to repel it. But Burnley at the moment are just getting the details right all over the field.
You have to do that when you're away from home. You have to earn the right to play. You have to earn those opportunities and chances, not always given to you. I thought they started the game a little bit nervously, and as we saw with the opportunity there for Mateo Jervis in the first 30 seconds, that maybe could have changed the difference of the game if he'd have taken it, but he didn't.
Well, Burnley now with more attempts on goal, and Leeds have often been wasteful in that sort of area. Nonto, Gruev, Ampadu, Aronson winning the ball in the air, but once again Burnley able to get the ball away initially. But here is Firpo, Aronson, Osho with the challenge. The players allowed to continue because here is Solomon. Aronson again, there was a pull back on him from Osho again, and now the cross is deflected away.
Well, listen, I know the referee's trying to play the advantage, but there's no advantage there for Leeds afterwards. Just give it a couple of seconds, see if Leeds can get a shot off or a decent cross in, but I thought we should have pulled back there for a free kick, so Leeds would much rather have had a free kick in that area towards goal.
Aronson looking for Nonto, but here is Solomon. Worrell with the challenge. Appeals for a penalty, but a corner kick's been given.
Well, you're going to make those challenges, you're going to have to play the ball, and you've got to make the challenge perfect. You don't want to be doing too many of these this season. However, the referee's in a really, really good position to see that one. How much of the ball does he actually get? I mean, it's one of those ones that it's a dangerous challenge to be making.
Well, as we always say, no VAR in the Championship, so the on-field decision stands. Well, James Bell is now talking with Ian Cooper, his assistant on the far side, and there is a discussion here. Well, the yellow card is out. And it's Hannibal who is looking very penitent, but he receives the booking.
That was interesting, because I thought originally the referee went over to the linesman, maybe just to speak about the incident, to get the linesman's view, because the linesman would have seen a position of that one as well. So I thought that'd be really good communication. I had no idea that you'd be given the yellow card.
Well, now there's clarification for the Leeds captain, Ethan Ampadu, but Hannibal is in the book. The former Manchester United youngster.
I think Burnley have got away with one there.
The corner from Gruev, and Hannibal will now have the opportunity to bring the ball clear, and you can hear what the home crowd think of recent events as Ampadu slides in. And Hannibal not too impressed with the nature of that challenge, although it's Ampadu who appears to have come off worst.
There's a committed challenge there from Ampadu. It's a follow through afterwards. I don't think there's anything in it in terms of... I mean, he has caught him, but I don't think there's anything malicious in that challenge at all.
Well, it's Ampadu who looks to be in some trouble. Started every single game for Leeds last season. And of course had a key role for Wales in their opening 2 games. And a number of the Leeds crowd not too happy about the decision not to award the penalty here.
It's a risky challenge. I mean, you're diving in from behind.
And we saw the reaction there from Hannibal. Clearly not happy about the manner of Solomon's fall to the turf, and that's what earned him that yellow card. And he did have a loan spell at Birmingham in the Championship a couple of years ago when he was a very young player, still a teenager, and often they would find themselves in a situation where he would have to be taken off the field because he was often running a very fine line in terms of discipline.
Sometimes you're a youngster, you're going to be learning along the way. And your emotions will certainly get better of you, but when you're playing in these big games, those emotions can't overflow sometimes and descend, and you cannot creep in and you get another silly yellow card and then you're sent off and then your team's under pressure.
Well, that was the challenge by Ampadu, which has resulted in this long delay.
He's stretching for the ball there. When he has caught him,
well, Ampadu back on his feet, but he's walking around very gingerly on that right ankle. And Leeds will be very keen to see the prognosis here, because Ampadu is one of the players who really makes them tick. And Will Ferrell, we can see there with the sunglasses on his head, the Hollywood film star. He is a minority shareholder at Leeds United, and he often seems to take in a game whenever he's in the UK at various clubs. Of course, it's a big weekend for the EFL and American ownership down in League One, with Birmingham playing Wrexham on Monday, but we have a bit of stardust sprinkled here at Ellen Road today as well. Well, the atmosphere is really sulphurous now inside Ellen Road, and Leeds will hope to feed off this, and Burnley will have to deal with it.
It's one of those grounds that brilliant theatre of football. Leeds fans always passionate, and they want something from their sides.
Given away by Gruev, but Leeds do get the free kick for the challenge by Laurent. And this game has a real undercurrent at the moment.
It's been a really good game. It's been entertaining. I thought the side were a little bit nervous, maybe first 5 minutes of misplaced passes, but the game was always going to be settling down. They've had opportunities and chances. Kolyosho took his goal very, very well. Leeds may have felt that they should have had a penalty and maybe a goal for their efforts in this first half, but it's been a real entertaining game so far.
Nonso. Ampadu. Good to see him back on his feet. Firpo. Solomon. That's a lovely turn. Again, there's no room for the shot, but Ampadu will let fly. Yet to score a league goal for Leeds, and he was significantly off target there.
It's one of those rush chances. It comes to the edge of the box, and you know someone's going to come and close you down, so you need that quick touch, that quick shot. lacking that bit of quality.
Now this is the start of an important period for Leeds. 3 of their next 4 games are away from home, including Sunderland, who are currently top of the table with 4 wins out of 4. A challenge on Nonto, but Leeds maintain possession. Gruev, Aronson, good footwork from him again. Ampadu, Solomon in pursuit, but it's claimed by Trafford. And Burnley, at the moment, I think would appreciate the half-time whistle more than Leeds.
That's a fair point, I think, just now for Scott Parker's side to go in and regroup and work on a game plan in the second half, when Leeds maybe will be a bit more coming at them, and then that counter-attack's going to happen again for them. They've lost their way maybe in the last 10 minutes. Not as in control without the ball as the way they were for the long periods of this first half.
Jadon Anthony is booked for that challenge on Wilfred Nonto. They were teammates last season. Third yellow card in the first half. As we tick towards the end of 45 minutes, but there will be a portion of added time for the injury for Ethan Ampadu. A minimum of 4 minutes. Aronson. Joseph finding Wilfred Nonto again. Aronson in support. But it's cut out by Esteve. Lucas Perez. And Leeds are dominating possession, but I think you can sense, Adam, there is real anxiety for them when Burnley look to create these counter-attacks, because they know in terms of pace they've probably got more.
Oh, they do, and they've shown that. The goal was typified of the way that Scott Parker's side have played in this first half, but there's been moments before that, and you can kind of see how it's going to happen, how the game unravels when Leeds have possession. If they lose it in those areas, I've seen Burnley counter-attack so well. Scott Parker will be pleased just to have that goal advantage and a clean sheet. I think Leeds in the second, they need to do more with the ball in the final third. I just think Nonto and Solomon have had moments. Murphy had that, Joseph had that opportunity in the first minute, and apart from that, he's really struggled to get into the game. So those areas have to be better for Leeds in the second half.
A collision there between Worrell and Esteve, and Burnley are penalised for handball. And it was Joe Worrell's left hand just coming out to make contact with the ball. Leeds have had 75% possession so far, but Burnley have had more shots on target. That's the story of the game. Joe Worrell shown the yellow card. Aronson with the free kick. Ampadu was the player who was looking to fasten onto it, but Burnley will clear. Koleosha looking to cause problems here for Aronson, but he's helped out by Bogle. Now strike. Solomon. Firpo on the overlap. Joseph, who had arguably Leeds his best opportunity after 45 seconds, but he failed to hit the target. We've also seen Wilfred Nonto force a good save from James Trafford. And now Burnley get the free kick. Joe Rodon penalised. And Hannibal has become a central character here.
Certainly making the most of that one. Inside a free kick, and now we'll probably just see it into half-time.
But you get the sense that Hannibal enjoys being the central character. But he and Lawrence are working incredibly hard at the base of the Burnley midfield to try and create the opportunities. And they have a set piece here as we tick towards half-time. Lucas Perez, but it's cleared by Rodon. And now given away by Hannibal. Solomon. Aronson. Gruev as Burnley look to retreat. Rodon. And now Nonto and Esteve stooping to concede the corner, and there may just be time to take it.
Yeah, it's a last opportunity, isn't it, for Leeds just before half-time.
Leeds' final chance in the first half. Aronson's corner, strike! And it's wide, and that's half-time. And Burnley lead. And it's been a first half for Leeds, full of frustration. Missing a chance right at the start of the game. Matteo Joseph clean through within the opening minute, but dragging his shot wide. And then they were caught out by a counter-attack. Luca Koleosho breaking clear from the halfway line and finishing superbly after 18 minutes. And although Leeds have applied so much pressure, Burnley at the moment are standing firm. Hannibal's had his moments, but collectively Burnley's rearguard action has really been impressive. And Daniel Farke has work to do in the Leeds United dressing room at half-time. The pressure, they've done what they've had to do defensively in the main, but even with someone like Fleming in the team, I know Lyle Foster scored the goal in the derby against Blackburn, but Fleming maybe is a more rounded footballer, so if you're looking to play counter-attacking football, he can be the ideal pivot for you to get players like Koleosho into the game.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the first 5 minutes when I thought it was just really frantic, when the game settles down and you're looking at it from the outside, I looked at Burnley and thought, if they can get that first turnover pass to one of their players and then start that counter-attack, they could have a lot of joy this afternoon. And you kind of slowly saw that. And then when they gain more confidence, you then get more players making more runs forward. And all of a sudden, you've got 6 Burnley players making the run into a box on a counter-attack, which is really good to see. What you don't want is 1 or 2, and you're trying to find 1 in the box. You've got 3 or 4 to be aiming for. And I think they've done that really well, Scott Parker's side. Leeds have had double amount of passes, they've had quadruple amount of possession, which means nothing when you don't show that quality within that final third. And I think it's been a really mature, it's been a really good performance from Scott Parker's side, considering if we talk about the Leeds changes in that final third, they've had a massive overhaul, Burnley, over the summer, with the players that have been coming and going, with Scott to be working with the players on the training grounds. It's only half done. They need to show that again in this second half.
But Daniel Farke has said his piece, and so too Scott Parker, who once scored an added time winner here for Charlton against Leeds in the Premier League, and he'll be hoping his Burnley team can complete the job here as well as they get the second half underway. Attacking the Don Revie stand away to our left-hand side. Rodon. And now Strike. Solomon. And Leeds do win the throw-in, but once again they're having to try and work the ball in deeper areas, and they've rarely broken Burnley down. Joseph. Rodon finding Bogle. Nonto emerging from the shadows. Ampadu was given away, cut out by Brownhill. Fleming. Now Hannibal, one of 4 players booked in the first half. Koleosho. But he runs into Gruev. And the Bulgarian brings it clear. Well, there's just that lack of cohesion you see from Leeds, and when you're trying to force it, that can often become an issue as well. Nonto. Aronson. There's a shove in the back from Brownhill, but play continues, but Nonto unable to make anything of it. But here is Bogle. Firpo. Literally held up by Koleosho. And then it's cut out by Laurent. Koleosho's flick, but recovered by Gruev. Firpo. Solomon. And in the end, the cross, a disappointment, and that movement really summed up much of the first half for Leeds as well.
Yeah, frustration yet again there. Take a little encouragement that he's got in a one-on-one area against Humphreys further up the field, where he can either cut inside and have the shot or go on the outside and get the cross in. But again, the lack of quality again from Daniel Fartner's side is there to be seen at the start of the second half.
Anthony. Oh, that's cleverly done. Lucas Perez seeking out Fleming, but Rodon gets there first. Only 5 of the last 19 teams in the Championship have won promotion after losing in the playoff final. Brentford were the last team to make that sort of recovery. But Leeds are the only team in the current Championship branding to have lost a playoff final and then gone down the following season. But I think you will get fairly long odds on that happening this season. One of Adam's old clubs, Brighton, also did that in the pre-Championship era. Rodon. Now Strike. Both these teams have eyes firmly fixed on the top of the table. Aronson. Burnley have played him very well so far. He had one opportunity to release Nonto when the shot was saved by Trafford, but apart from that, he's been very closely policed. Worrell stepping in before Joseph. And it's a goal kick in the end.
What Burnley needed at the start of the second half was not for Leeds to start fast and gain any real momentum.
Well, again, he looks fairly glum, Daniel Farke. He's won 2 titles at this level with Norwich City, and on both occasions they made a fairly slow start to the season before simply running away from the field. Koleosho. But what Daniel Farke had at Norwich was a reliable, prolific goal scorer, and maybe he's still seeking one out here. Joel Peru certainly has the CV to suggest he could be that player this season. He's on the bench today. Hannibal, the player who was down for Burnley, but here is Firpo. And again, there's just a collective lack of pace from Leeds. Rodon. Dan James currently unavailable due to injury, and they really do miss him. Nonto. He could be that player. Nonto's shot, and it took a deflection off Firpo. It's a goal kick.
Good position there, picking up that central area. Takes a deflection, doesn't he, off Firpo on the way through.
Worrell. Now Humphreys under pressure, and he's lost out to Solomon. Gruev. Solomon again. Gruev on the stretch. Joseph. Brownhill working hard. But here is Joseph! Brilliant save by Trafford. That's why he's one of the best young goalkeepers in the country.
Well, he's made 2 outstanding saves in this game so far, and this is another one to add to the catalogue. He really had to stretch for that one.
Aronson from the corner. But Burnley will block. Anthony looking to bring it clear. And he was halted by Nonto. And he will be shown the yellow card by James Bell, the referee.
Yeah, certainly an obvious yellow card. A reckless challenge there. This was the save just before. That's a really good save there from James Trafford. Had to move his feet well and really stretch that left hand to tip it around the post.
Jadon Anthony back on his feet. And Nonto heading across to apologise. But it won't spare him the yellow card. Humphreys. Now Koleosho. Hannibal. Fleming. Onside. Koleosho. Anthony in space inside the penalty area, but I don't think Koleosho saw him. And here is Ampadu. And players being brought back for a Leeds free kick. Strike. And from a Leeds point of view, it's been more of the same since half-time, but Burnley continue to frustrate but also impress. But here is an opportunity. Firpo. And the challenge from Humphreys, it will be a corner.
Yeah, really good play there from Leeds United. I have to say, good defending as well there from Humphreys. Koleosho didn't really go with the overlapping run there of Firpo. That's why the 2-on-1 was created. And good defending, good positioning there from the youngster.
Once again, strike and Roden forward. The corner in towards Firpo. Gruev will take it again. Deeper this time. Joseph. Back to Gruev. And there is Anthony. And the quick restart. Joseph. Challenged by Humphreys, but now Solomon. Leeds continuing to dominate territorially, but Burnley still lead. Solomon. And the touch there from Hannibal, but at the moment, Scott Parker will be learning a good deal about the character of his team.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think in these periods of the games now that this is what you learn about your players. Can they dig in deep? Can they concentrate? Can they do the defensive duties that's going to be asked of you? Because these are big performances away from home. If you want to get promotion and you come to the big guns that you're going to be going up against, you're going to have to show discipline. You're going to have to show a bit of courage. And that's what they're doing at the start of this second half, absorbing a lot of pressure.
Nonto. Good covering, though, from Josh Laurent. 1 or 2 eyebrows were raised when Burnley signed him from Stoke City, but he's a player of immense experience at this level. And he's always been the sort of player who does his job and allows the more extravagant players to really do their stuff. Ampadu. Cut out by Brownhill, but Ampadu now has it back. Aronson. Challenged by Lawrence again. Now Anthony. Roden won the ball. Nonso. It's one-way traffic. Joseph. So congested now when Leeds have the ball in this sort of area. Ampadu. Gruev. Bogle. Leeds very narrow. Here is Nonso again. And again he comes back into the central area and the shot is wayward. But really, he had nowhere else to go.
Well, they don't. I mean, Burnley just really happy to narrow up, and the space is out wide for Leeds. When you're looking at the two fullbacks in particular, and so the player now coming inside. And a few challenges flying in there from one or two Burnley players, but yet again, just that bit of quality. You get frustrated, and then you start forcing shots towards goal, and that's what Burnley will certainly want.
Well, James Trafford is rather ruefully rubbing the back of his head, also having words with James Bell, the referee. And Scott Parker will be nervous at the moment. Firpo. Now Gruev, Gnonto, and Wilfred Gnonto puts the ball into the back of the net, but the flag was up.
I wouldn't say that Scott Parker's side have started this second half at all, because in that first half they had quality of control when they won their ball back. At the minute they're not even winning the ball back, and they're not keeping the ball well enough when they do. And he does go early. It is offside. That defensive line looks a little bit too gappy for me.
They did rather come out in instalments there, Burnley, and it was maybe closer than it first appeared. Gnonto, but here is Worrell. Laurent. And the game has a real frenetic air once again. Solomon. Beyond Humphreys. Laurent, though, with a key touch. And then Ampadu was late. And Brownhill really felt that.
It's one of those challenges you know you're going to make, and you know you're going to probably get something for it. Just showing all of his experience there, the Burnley captain. The best ball in there from Solomon. Just gets a touch on it first, and a little bit late there from him. Don't know too much on him, but just gives his son a bit of a breathing space now with the free kick.
Yellow card for Ethan Ampadu, and he knew it was coming. Josh Brownhill okay. He really added goals to his game the last time Burnley played in the Championship. 7 goals and 8 assists under Vincent Kompany when they won the title with 101 points. Humphreys straight out of play. And Burnley have won promotion on the last 3 occasions they played at this level. Of course, their stay in the Premier League was brief last season. Strike. Now Roden. The challenge on Aronson, but it's won by Laurent, and he looks for Koleosho. And Meslier taking evasive action.
Yeah, good goalkeeping, really good goalkeeping there. To be aware, first time really Burnley have won that turnover and allowed the counter to happen, but the goal is off the line really quickly. Now leaves one on him.
And Koleosho felt that. And Hannibal and Junior Firpo both helping him out with cramp. But it does look a bit stiff-legged at the moment. Well, wonderful atmosphere inside Ellen Road at the moment as the Leeds crowd try and inspire their team, and those supporting Burnley really get behind them to try and ensure they can hold on to this lead. Leeds with 73% of the possession. They've now had 14 shots in the game, but only 3 of those on target, and that's been their problem. And Burnley have barely crossed the halfway line since half-time, but they will do now. All of their shots on target in the first half. Fleming, free kick, conceded by Bogle, and that was cleverly done by Zian Fleming.
It's clever play there. It's one of those ones you don't really have too much around you. Can you just draw yourself in a foul and just win your side a bit of breathing space, which he's done well there.
Esteve. Now Anthony. First time we've really seen him attack in the second half. He's got support from Lucas Pires, but he's lost out. Ampadu leading the counter-attack, looking for Nonto, but a really good challenge there from Josh Lauren once again. But here is Nonto again. Ampadu! And it's another brilliant save by Trafford.
Well, he's been called upon now 3 times, and he's made another important save. It's an anxious 10 minutes now for Burnley, because just at the moment they're not controlling the game well enough.
Corner kick looking for Roden. Aronson. Solomon. Aronson. And it's beyond the near post. Appeals for a deflection, but a goal kick's been given.
And the Leeds players looking for the corner, finding that shot took a deflection wide.
It's Joe Worrell who was closest to that. And the goal scorer, Luca Coglioscio, is going off. And Jeremy Sarmiento is coming on. The Ecuador international on loan from Brighton. He was on loan at both West Brom and, maybe more significantly, Ipswich last season. Was involved in some dramatic moments towards the end of the season as they made it to the Premier League. Worrell has to deal with this, and it's safety first. Roden. Now strike. Ampadu. No free kick. Esteve. Back to James Trafford, who's been Burnley's most significant player since half-time. Only 14 fouls in the game. It's been the sort of game where it feels there have been more, but we have had 6 yellow cards so far. But his team still trail. And there'll be a yellow card here for time wasting for Bashir Humphreys. And it's very early in the game to be doing that, but it gives you an indication of how the game is going. And when he eventually takes the throw in, it's from the wrong place. Joseph. Esteve will get there before Aronson.
There's been total dominance from Leeds in this second half. With the possession, Trafford ball into a couple of saves. They're certainly going to have to believe they're going to find something sooner rather than later.
Strike. And now Rodon. And there's room here for Ampadu. But again, Burnley are just cutting off those avenues of opportunity around the penalty area. Ampadu, Aronson. The back heel from Joseph will find the American once again. Now Nonto. It's a good cross in, but an important header away by Esteve. Solomon. Now Gruev. Ampadu. Beyond Fleming. But he's given the ball away. Hannibal seeking out Anthony, who has now switched over to the right to accommodate Sarmiento on the left.
He's on the left, Sarmiento, just playing a little bit more inside.
Ethan Ampadu is coming off. He did have that knock on the right ankle in the first half. Joe Rothwell replacing him. Another Bournemouth loanee on the field, and Brendan Aronson also departs, and Joel Peru will now support Matteo Joseph in attack. And Peru came on and scored in the victory here against Hull before the international break. And we are beyond the midpoint of the second half. And you don't often see Ethan Ampadu withdrawn for Leeds, but I just wonder if he's hampered by that ankle problem from the first half.
It was a sore one, wasn't it, that caught halfway through that first half, and they seem to be struggling a little bit getting around the pitch on a yellow card as well, maybe just to take that into consideration as well.
Trafford playing out, looking for Sarmiento. First involvement for Peru, and Sarmiento will concede the corner kick.
It's important that Burnley just don't create chances for Leeds off their own back of playing in the wrong areas. There's been total dominance from Leeds in this second half.
Rothwell will take the corner kick. In towards that near post. Burnley don't clear initially. Solomon. Rothwell. Now Gruev. Peru. And it was Rodon with the flick on. And Sarmiento will try and shepherd the ball out, but in fact he's won the free kick.
Yeah, clever free kick there just to win for your sides. Bit of a needless challenge there for Solomon to be given away.
Manuel Solomon has had a frustrating day, and Will Ferrell, under the baseball cap, the Leeds baseball cap, seems to be sharing his frustration. The Hollywood superstar, who is a shareholder here at Leeds, the Hollywood superstar, who is a shareholder here at Leeds. Well, but it's not been Leeds' day so far. Sarmiento. Now Fleming. Humphreys. Lawrence. Now that is an extremely rare sight of Burnley going forward in the second half.
Apart from the one through ball that they had early on, I think his frustration that his side have had no control of the turnover when they've won the ball back. It's just given away far too frequently. That's not been able them to squeeze up to the field. That's not enabled them to play in Leeds' half at all in this second half. I mean, it's much easier keeping that goal lead, defending like you are at the moment, but his side, more that Leeds are going to be pressing on in this second half, that the opportunity is going to arise for them. But the quality, that first pass when they've won the ball back too many times in this second half, hasn't hit a Burnley player.
Firpo. Under pressure from Anthony, but here is Joseph. Peru in space down the centre. Solomon. Now Nonto. And Humphrey's doing well, but in the end, conceding the throw-in. Joseph. And Humphreys, does he concede the corner? Well, here is Nonto, but again, when Burnley do clear, it comes back so quickly, so that pressure will increase.
That's a prime example there, and the problem is they don't have an out ball now.
And a straight swap now in midfield. Josh Lauren coming off, and in fact, sorry, my apologies, it's Hannibal going off, and Josh Cullen who will come on. The Irish international who is back from injury. And Hannibal taking the long walk around in front of the Leeds supporters. Sarmiento. And now Laurent. And it's fair to say he's milking the moment.
Do you reckon?
I think he's going to be someone to keep an eye on in the Championship this season. He's a very good player, but he often attracts attention for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to take that out of your game too much, because that's what the character you are about, but there are moments where certain elements have to stop. Concentration in those moments that could cost your team in the long term. It's about the trust as well from managers.
But he's played his part here today in what's been a very good defensive performance, and he's usually an attacking defender, but attacking midfielder rather, but he has been there at the back doing his work with everybody else, as Nonto has it now. Sarmiento with the challenge. And the Burnley fans showing their appreciation for Hannibal as Leeds get the free kick.
It's good play there from Monte there to draw in the challenge. It's got to count now for Leeds, because so much possession, so many opportunities now. Set plays last season, I remember, was a real issue. They didn't score enough from set plays. One of the lowest in the Championship, when it can be so vital for a formal way to get to a goal.
Gruevo with a free kick. As we tick towards the final 15 minutes. And Gruev's delivery was looking for Rodon, who strained every single sinew at the far post, but he couldn't make any contact.
There's a lot of pace on that cross. I think just does enough for him to get goal side of him and get a contact on the header.
Sarmiento is having to double up on this near side to help out Lucas Pires, but now Striker's given the ball away. Humphreys coming forward, of course, usually a central defender, and maybe we've seen that at times, maybe not quite the ability to go beyond the man or try and go beyond the man.
Oh, so much defensive juices of him in this second half has been apparent. It's the first time really I've seen him get forward in those areas.
Burnley's recent record at Ellen Road: 1 win, 1 draw and 7 defeats. But they are closing in on a huge victory, even in mid-September. Humphreys. Now Cullen. Worrell. And Humphreys won't get that.
Substitution for Leeds United, leaving the field, number 3, Junior Firpo.
Now Junior Firpo is making way for Sam Byram.
Also leaving the field, number 14, Manuel Solomon.
So a straight swap down the left.
By number 17, Laji Ramazani.
And Laji Ramazani coming on for Manuel Solomon as well. So the young Belgian signed from Almeria, but he came through the academy at Manchester United, replacing the Tottenham loanee. And Daniel Farke is trying everything here to coax his team back into the game. Worrell, Cullen. Launch from Trafford, met by Strike. But Brownhill winning an important header, and there was a clash of heads there, so play will be stopped.
Yeah, rest on that straight away.
It's Joe Rodon who was down for Leeds. And Brownhill, the Burnley player. And of course, as always in this situation, they will go through the necessary protocols to ensure the players' safety, but it gives both managers the opportunity to call in one or two players to make a point.
Yeah, it will do now. I mean, the substitutions are coming left, right and centre from Leeds United, so in the final we'll be certainly getting these players in now to try and play in a way to be more effective and create more opportunities towards goal. I just think for Burnley, just at this moment in time, they're just not keeping the ball well enough on the turnover. When you play counter-attacking football, that's when your players can really accelerate and get forwards. When you win that ball back and you keep it well enough, they're not keeping it well enough, and that's why your fullbacks can't get forward, the wide players can't get high. And Fleming not really showing anything as well, because they're not really getting any opportunities.
This is the reason for the delay. Brownhill and Rodon only had eyes for the ball, and that's a nasty collision. And there will be a significant delay here once again. Only 1 goal so far in the game, and it came early on in the 18th minute. The slip from Manuel Solomon, and then it was all about the pace of Luca Koleosho. Had support from Jadon Anthony, but used him as the decoy superbly.
That's a brilliant goal. I mean, when you're travelling that far with the ball, you have so many thoughts in your mind: who's around you, who's coming across to me. But then he made a decision just to go towards goal and waited for the perfect opportunity to fire the shot into that bottom left-hand corner that left the Leeds United fans stunned, because at that moment of time Leeds were on top in the game, creating 1 or 2 chances.
Well, Rodon is sitting up, which is good to see. And they've managed to bandage him up as well. But it's been a very tense watch for those Burnley supporters throughout the second half. And a change of shirt as well for Joe Rodon. And James Trafford, the goalkeeper, has made 2 excellent saves, but you could make the case that maybe Leeds haven't worked him enough.
Not really. I mean, the amount of possession that they've had and so many opportunities of threading that final through ball when the ball's been in central areas. When you look about the quality of crosses that have come into the box, have been pretty poor. Think about that first chance for Joseph in the first 45 seconds was a massive, massive chance. Also was another one which I think he should have scored from. But he's a quality goalkeeper. I mean, Burnley have done well to keep hold of him, because you need your goalkeeper. The best sides come the end of the season through promotion, whether it's for either playoffs or winning the league title, arguably you do have the best goalkeeper.
Well, of course, it could have been a different story had Leeds scored right at the start. Esteve with a mistake, and if it stays like this, Joseph will be replaying this tonight.
Yeah, he done so well, Trafford, because he came out not too far enough that allowed Joseph to go around him, and I think he just maybe rushed his chance, because where he took the shot from was quite far out from goal, leaning back slightly. But that was a big chance, and you score that, it completely changes the context of this game.
Do you credit Trafford in that situation? Because, of course, he didn't have to make the save, but he made it as difficult as possible for Joseph.
I'm not a goalkeeper, but what he did really well is that he almost asked a question back to the striker. What are you going to do? Are you going to take me on? Which side of the goal are you going to go to? And he stayed central, so it made it more difficult for him to pick a side. But he didn't come off his line too fast, too quickly, and that's when you run in through and go, and that's when you can go round a goalkeeper sometimes. I thought he held his position brilliantly, stayed big as long as possible.
Well, Brownhill and Roden will be fairly easy to spot in the remaining minutes of this game. And Scott Parker just checking on his captain.
You've got to make sure that you're right. I mean, you're honest pros and you want to carry on. I've been there myself. You want to carry on for the team. You're the captain, you're the leader, but that's where the physios now come in. As you mentioned, have to be so careful now with these concussions. It's good to see both players even back on their feet.
Well, the medical teams are in charge of that these days, and if a player's not right, they're coming off, irrespective of what anyone else says. But there will be a large amount of added time at the end of the second half. Leeds were so good at home for so much of last season, but if you take into account the end of the previous campaign, this would be 3 home defeats in 5 games, in the regular season at least. Roden. Brownhill is the player without a name or a number. On his shirt, at least. Rothwell. Ramazani. And he just carries the ball out of play, and Leeds continue to toil here in the autumn sunshine. If you look at the stats, they have dominated this game, but there is only one key stat that really matters.
I remember here against Portsmouth, I think I had 22 shots on the back of the net 3 times, but it only came away with a point still. Total dominance in this second half. You can't say that Burnley have offered too much towards the Leeds goal, but what you have to say is they've worked incredibly hard without the ball, Scott Parker's side, and this is the key period now. When you work so hard now, this is where you have to dig in deep and show what you're all about.
Substitution for Leeds United, replacing number 6.
And Joe Roden is going off.
Number 22, Al Tanaka.
And now Tanaka is coming on. The Japanese international signed from Fortuna Dusseldorf. 26 years of age earlier this week. And Daniel Farke sacrificing defensive cover in search of the equalising goal. Again, 17 attempts on goal for Leeds, but not enough of those have been on target, nowhere near. But there's still time. Nonso. Peru. And it was blocked by Worrell, which made the claim routine for Trafford. And we barely mentioned Joel Peru since coming on. No time to play out from the back for Burnley now. Good touch from Fleming. Cullen. Oh, and it's been given away by Lucas Perez. Ramazani. Now Peru. Ramazani has gone down. Tanaka. And the young Belgian has stayed down. Peru eventually hobbling back to his feet.
I think Lawrence certainly caught him when he went to take the shot, but I think he's more honest to stay on his feet.
Nonso. Rothwell, who was on the bench for Southampton when they beat Leeds in the playoff final last season. His cross, good goalkeeping by Trafford.
You can just see him diving in there. So he has caught him, but I think on a couple of occasions, I will say the referee's not played good advantages for Leeds. I think one in the first half, I remember, they wanted a free kick on the edge of the box and they didn't get because Leeds tried to play on. I thought that occasion there, the advantage should have gone back and a yellow card and a free kick should have been given.
Fleming. And he's won the free kick for Burnley. And again, that's really good forward play from Zian Fleming to offer the physical challenge and earn the free kick for the shirt pull by Gruev.
He's done it twice now in his second half where he's just won a free kick, and honestly it's like winning the lottery sometimes when you've been so much work without the ball and defended for the majority of the half. It just gives you time now to run down the clock a little bit. Burnley don't seem to be in any need to throw too many up just yet, but seeing Worrell coming forward now.
Cullen is over it. And it's fair to say they're not packing the penalty area. But Worrell is up there. It's aimed towards Worrell, and Strike has to concede the corner. It's only Burnley's second of the game as we tick towards the end of 90 minutes.
There's a teasing ball in there from Cullen. Strike, you can't afford to take any chances there. Facing towards your own goal.
Will Burnley play this one short? That's what they do. A minimum of 8 minutes added time. And it's all the way back to Trafford. Now Brownhill. Fleming challenging. And he has it. Lucas Perez. Sarmiento pulling wide. Laurent. Sarmiento. And the cross a waste.
Substitution for Burnley, replacing number 8, Josh Brownhill, number 42.
And Josh Brownhill is coming off.
Number 19, Zian Fleming.
And Zian Fleming is also making way as well. And Han-Noah Masengo, the former Bristol City player, is coming on. The young Frenchman. along with Andreas Hutonji, who plays his international football for Benin. Had a very good goal-scoring record for Rodez in the French second division last season, 14 goals. And Fleming has had a very accomplished debut for Burnley.
Yeah, a big pat on the back there from his manager, Scott, but he's worked tirelessly in this second half. You may not see the effort that he's shown, but in terms of his willingness to make those runs and a couple of occasions winning important free kicks for his team, I think it's been a real solid debut from him.
Strike. And now Rothwell. And Leeds a long way from the Burnley goal as the time slips away. And you can hear the urgency from the home crowd. Tanaka. But the Burnley fans find their voices once again. Everybody of a claret and blue persuasion knows just how big the next 6 or 7 minutes are.
They've got a bit of freshness with the front three, Burnley now. Atonji Masendo, they're two players now chasing down and making Leeds play backwards when they get into these areas.
Bogle, but Esteve will get there first, but Leeds had the throw-in. And that is a real waste as they look to play it quickly, and in the end they're flagged offside. It's just not happened for Leeds so far today. And Tanaka and Bogle conspiring to gift Burnley the free kick, as one or two Leeds fans begin to head for home. Sarmiento. And again Burnley winning these free kicks. It was Bogle with the challenge this time, and it just breaks up the play for Leeds. Leeds have made no impression on their goal at all in added time.
No. I see 8 minutes going up. You think it's going to be a long 8 minutes for Burnley, but so far Scott Parker's side have controlled it well. The needless offside from their own throw in Leeds, and the game management into injury time has been good so far from Burnley.
Joseph. Now Nonto. And Nonto's cross travels a long way, but again Trafford judging it superbly on the edge of his 6-yard line.
Someone so young, doesn't he? He just shows great experience, great coolness. So many times when Burnley had been on the back foot, even just those little ones there could easily have been spilt. It just shows that composure and quality.
Hutonji challenging strike, and now Anthony, and it's Barham who comes across. Masengo losing out in the challenge, and then the shirt pull on Rothwell will earn him the yellow card very soon after coming on. Strike. Desperation time for Leeds now. And the final touch was off the Dutchman. It will be a throw-in for Burnley. And they are nearly there.
I had to dig in deep second half. Scott Parker's side, and those travelling fans will really appreciate the work rate that his side has shown. This could be a big 3 points for them at the start of the season.
Gruev. Now Rothwell. Bogle losing out to Lucas Perez. Here is Esteve. Oh, and played straight out by Laurent, not like him. And Leeds may get one final chance here. Joseph. And Esteve not too happy at the nature of his fall. Ramazani. And again, Burnley are just happy to get the ball away. Hutonji. Sarmiento. Masengo challenging. And here is strike. Nonto. Humphreys with the challenge, and the referee will pull play back on this occasion and give Leeds a free kick in the 98th minute. And Masengo, who has already been shown the yellow card, but it's Bashir Humphreys who has been shown the second yellow card. And Burnley will finish this game with 10 players.
He just dived in. It's an honest challenge, but you know, you've got to try and learn the game. Just got caught in possession. There's always going to be a yellow card, and when you've already got one, it's going to be a second, and you're going to be facing a red card.
Well, Bashir Humphreys, on his league debut for Burnley, is sent off. And they will have to defend this free kick with 10 players. Gruev. Now Nonto. The cross is deep, and Trafford with some brilliant goalkeeping in the circumstances.
Unbelievable.
Well, no wonder he's smiling, and no wonder they're smiling.
You see, just that awareness then to go and dominate your 6-yard box and go and catch it. It looks fairly simple, but just confident goalkeeping there. Strong goalkeeping as well. He's been outstanding.
Strike. Here is Hutonji. The Leeds fans leaving in their numbers now. Anthony, he'll head to the corner flag. And Burnley have the corner in the 100th minute. And they have defended their lead superbly throughout this game. It's not been about flowing football today.
Not, but these are the games that you play, and these are the games that can end up winning you promotion. You score 4 away at Luton and you win 1-0 here. I think this performance will probably please Scott Parker more, because they've had to show a side now that they can dig in, they can fight.
Meslier clears downfield, but that's it. Even in September, it's a landmark victory for Burnley. Only their second in 10 games at Ellen Road. But more significantly here today, in a match between two of the pre-season promotion favourites, Burnley have gone away from home and they have got the victory. Scott Parker will be delighted with the application his team showed. Luca Kolyosha with the only goal after 18 minutes. And they hung on throughout the whole of the second half, but Leeds had no answer.
Well, they didn't do it. Listen, on another day, Leeds will be frustrated that they've not come away with anything from the game. But when you really look about the quality that Leeds shown in front of goal, out wide in areas, and the amount of possession that they had, and the amount of opportunities they could have maybe tested Burnley more in that second half. I thought his first half performance won them the game. They scored a goal against a run of play. I thought the youngsters really stood out today for Burnley and gained valuable experience from this performance. And these performances go a long, long way. To win 1-0 away from home against one of your rivals for promotion helps massively with the confidence.